Loads of work done on the Demon Princess? Well, not really. Let me explain in this week's Saved by Slaanesh. Saved by Slaanesh. Nick speaking, and welcome to this video. Right, some more work done on the Demon Princess. Before we have a look though, if you would like to keep up to date with the wonders of Warhammer 40k, then please give me a sub and hit the bell button so you don't miss an upload. Okay, so I put a lot of time into the Demon Princess this week, but not necessarily physically building her. Basically, I've been brainstorming all of the ideas that I've had back from you guys and some of my own ideas as well, trying to get this model look as good as I can. I want her to be a centerpiece of my army. So I'm going to go table down now and run through all of those brainstorming ideas, and of course, as always, I'm looking for your feedback, thoughts and comments. Okay, so let's run over some of the stuff that I've been working on this week. So first of all, the towel. I had a comment from the Jank Master, put some input in saying that he thought the towel wasn't working, that it looked as if it wouldn't be able to slither properly. And with the wings on, he was quite happy the fact that it was sort of flying, but if it went into the sort of slither mode, he felt that those little spikes on the towel were sort of visually stopping it from happening. So I went in and I've removed half of the spikes at the bottom of the towel. So I just got my knife and I just shaved them off and then filed it down. So I still wanted to keep some of the spikes here because I think it makes it quite chaosy. But at least now you've got this much bigger area. So the Jank Master, I hope that's more satisfactory for you. Okay, so that was that section. Now I had to look at this piece here. This is where we've got a little hole from the Tyranid body. So what I did is I went to my Tyranid bits box. I sieved through everything that I had and picked out what I thought were potential pieces for this particular model and put them all into a little box, which I have here. So this is a selection of all the bits from my Tyranid bits box. There's guns, there's arms, there's bone sabers and claws and God knows what, there's whips. So yeah, I went through there and I had a look to see what pieces would fit this model. Okay, so I've been taking all of your comments on board. I want this model to look as good as I can, and I feel like this model is almost a community model with all of your thoughts and ideas and inputs, and I really want to take everyone's comments into consideration. Now, Graham Collins, he thought that legs would be really good in the bottom of those holes. Not too big, just some small little legs, as if the model is sort of transforming into this snake thing. Now I had a look at my bits box. I didn't really have too many legs. Most of them were too big, like warrior legs, etc. But I did find a Gant that I had. So I chopped off his legs and tried them out on the model. And that is how they look. Now I have to be honest, I am not liking that at all. It looks, well, weird. Now Graham, I don't know whether you were thinking maybe even smaller legs. You did mention small legs, maybe green stuff them on. I suppose I could just green stuff them going down the towel. In actual fact, let's just push these in a bit more. Imagine them going down the towel. I don't know. For me, it just takes away from that snaky look a little bit too much. I'm not really liking those legs. Now, all of the options that I've tried, I have tried with all of the bits on, i.e. the wings and the centre section that I'm going to put on there. I'll probably show you that at the end of the video. So that was Graham's idea, and sorry Graham, I'm just not digging the legs. So let's have a look at the other ideas. Okay, so next was claws. So I found these, I think they're Gene Stealer arms. Tried putting them in, and although they don't look too bad, I think they do again detract away from the snake look a little bit too much, especially when you start putting maybe other arms on there. For example, like this one, I don't know how good those claws look at the bottom. So yeah, not 100% convinced by the claws. The other option that I had was sort of these crab hands from the Spellcrow bits that I had. So let's just pop those in, see what they look like. Okay, that's them, and they're very similar to the claws, to be fair. Again, I don't know that I really like them. However, I continued finding bits to put in there. So I found these little tentacles in my Chaos Bits box, and they look pretty cool, but again, I don't know how much I like them for the model, especially when he's all built up. It almost, I don't know, just looks a little bit weird. I don't know what it is. I don't know whether it's just the amount of towel that I've got and to compare to this area at the top here, but everything that I put in, including the green stuff tentacles, and one idea we had was to have these tentacles coming out and sort of maybe wrapping around the body somehow. Something like that maybe, possibly slightly better. Out of all the options, I think that's my favourite, because I think it doesn't detract from the snake look quite as much as all the other options. Okay, there was one last thing that I found in my bits box, and that was some gargoyle wings. Pretty cool. To be fair though, once I've got the other wings on there, and the fact that I've got obviously the arm options to put on there, they just didn't really work. I mean, they look okay, but yeah. So my conclusion is, apart from maybe some tentacles, I don't really like any of those options, and to the point that I'm actually thinking at this stage, I think I might just go in and fill in these holes. I mean, I'm using these holes just because they were there in the WARHAMMER body originally. I'm actually starting to think now I might just go in and just fill them in and just cover them up and forget that idea. But please let me know what you think. Out of all those options that I've just shown you, what do you think is the best? Now before you decide, let's put on the other bits and pieces onto the model and get a feel for how it's going to look, and hopefully you might be able to visualise those little bits a bit better. Okay, so now I've put on the tabard and the hip pieces and the wings. I haven't put the head on. I've decided I'm going to do the head last, wait until I've got everything else done and match the head to the model. So the next stage is the arms, or the weapon options. And a massive thank you to everyone who made comments on last week's video. It would seem the weapon option of choice, game-wise, is the claws. Now of course I do want this model to be good on the table as well as look good. So I think the claws is what I'm going to go for. But I do want to incorporate some of the other weapon options as well, just to make the model look as good as I can get it. Now the claws that you get in the box are these ones, and these are absolutely mahoosive. I don't think that suits the model very well at all in terms of my female side of it. I think they're just too overpowering for the look that I'm going for. Even if I did stick with my idea of cutting this top section off and doing a green stuff tentacle, I think the actual hand sections are just way too big. So I had to come up with another solution. Funny enough, the solution that I came up with, I was messaged by Ace Face with the same solution, so thank you Ace, it was a good idea, but I had already thought of it. And one reason why I hadn't done too much work on this model is because I was waiting for the bits to come in. The bits are here, and let me show you what they are. Carnifex Crushing Claws. How cool are those? Those are going to match the model so well. It's the right weapon to have on the model, and I think it's just going to suit this model really well. So I've got myself some of those. The good thing about these is that they don't have that beefy upper arm section, so I don't think I even need to modify these. I think these are going to go straight onto the model and look pretty cool. However, working out where to put them, and also maybe incorporating some of the other weapons, because many of you have been talking about this model having more than one arm, and I want to seriously consider that option as well. So first of all, let's get these into position. Okay, so option one is literally just have the claws where the arms are, job done. And to be fair, she's looking pretty good like that. I do actually really like that. However, I do want to consider the other possibility of putting more arms in. Now the question is, where do I have the claws? Do I have the claws at the top, at the bottom, or maybe a mixture, one at the top, one at the bottom? Now other weapon options that I like is definitely the axe, which I think I've discussed previously. So I'm really liking this axe as an option, and I think the obvious arm to match that is this one. Now I do think that the top half of the arm is a bit too beefy, so I've got two options. One, my original idea, cut it off at the elbow joint and do green stuff tentacles. The other option is to get one of these Tyranid arms and use the top of that, and potentially that might match the arms that I've got on the claws already. So that is a possibility, like that. So I have the two claws and just one axe arm maybe on that side. or potentially put this one on as well. Something like that, bearing in mind that the arm at the top won't be as beefy as what we've got there. And I think now I'm starting to put all these weapon options on there, I don't think I want to do too much down here. I think it's going to be way too messy. But that is one option, to have those secondary arms on there, both of them. The other option is to switch these arms around. Something like that. So I'd have the claws at the bottom and have the arms at the top. What do you think of that option? Now potentially I could take this arm off the bottom here and just have one claw on this side at the top and have the axe that side and the other claw that side. Potentially the model may not look so cumbersome as such, so I'm quite liking that idea, but what do you think? Now what I was thinking was the actual crushing claws, I think wherever they go I'm going to glue them into place, and then what I'll do is I'll magnetise the other weapon options. So in game, if the crushing claws in the future are just no good anymore, well then I can have the different weapons of choice. So on here I maybe have to magnetise the axe, or I could magnetise on the sword, etc. So that's how I'm going to make it work in the game, depending on the weapon options. So I can have all the weapon options just on the top here. The claws will be permanently in place, and obviously I won't necessarily be taking them all the time. So that's what I'm thinking. I think currently I'm liking the idea of one claw on this side at the top and this claw at the bottom, then having the top arm on this side magnetised, and that will be my weapon options for the future. But I would really love to get your feedback on this. As I said, I've done a lot of thinking and a lot of planning, although I haven't physically done a lot of work. All this planning and thinking is actually going to help me in the long run, because it's going to make the model look as awesome as I can get it. I do want it to be a centrepiece of the army. So I look forward to reading your comments. Beam me up.